When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
On September 1st, Sony is going to reach into millions of PlayStation accounts and delete 551 movies. Not free movies, movies people paid for. No refunds, no warning label, no way to keep them. And here's the part that should actually scare you. It is completely legal, because you never bought those movies. You have never bought anything on the internet. And one American state got so tired of this lie, it banned the word. In the last month, Sony killed the game disc, announced a purge of paid libraries, and the internet answered with 7 words that should terrify every corporation on earth. If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. Today we follow the receipts, because this scam took 20 years to build and it just fell apart in 2 weeks. On July 1st, Sony posted a short, very polite blog post announcing that starting January 2028, new PlayStation games will no longer be printed on discs. They called it responding to shifting trends in consumer preference, which is corporate for, you were going to stop buying discs anyway, so we stopped waiting. Translation: from 2028, the only way to get a new PlayStation game is a license sitting on Sony's servers, attached to your account, living entirely on their good mood. And in the same breath, almost as a footnote, the PlayStation 3 and Vita stores are closing worldwide in July 2027. That means thousands of older games stop being purchasable at all. Not unplayable, unbuyable. Remember that word, because it comes back. But the disc thing is not why the internet is on fire. On September 1st, Sony is removing 551 movies and shows from customers' video libraries. Studio Canal content, stuff people clicked buy on, paid real money for, and can watch today. On September 2nd, they can't. No refund. The licensing deal expired, and your purchase expired with it. And Sony has run this play before. In December 2023, they told PlayStation users their purchase discovery shows were getting deleted. Same reason, licensing. The backlash was instant, and Sony blinked. But read the fine print of that mercy. They only promised to keep your shows for at least the next 30 months. That clock ran out this summer. So September is not a glitch. It is a door they have been testing for years. People are not taking it well. A game shop owner told his local news it felt like a real betrayal. Business pages are running it as breaking news, with no refunds written right in the post. And thousands of comments are asking the same question. If they can just take it back, what exactly did I pay for? And if you think this is a Sony story, I have some very bad news for you. Sony is just the one that got caught this month. Delisted games, closed stores, purged movie libraries, servers that die and take your purchases with them. Analysts are even betting the next PlayStation drops the disk drive entirely. Sony has not confirmed that, so file it under speculation, but you can see which way the wind is blowing. Now, in fairness, nobody forced us here. Digital won because it is genuinely better in almost every way. It is instant, it is cheaper, there is no shelf, no scratch disk, no drive to the store. We clicked our way into this world, one convenient purchase at a time. That part is on us. What happens next is not. To understand what is actually going on, you need to read the one document nobody on earth has ever read, the terms of service. Because buried in there, every single store says the same thing. You are not buying a product, you are buying a license, a revocable license. Revocable is a lawyer word that means we can take it back. You did not buy the movie, you bought permission to watch the movie, and permission can be canceled. The button says buy, the contract says borrow indefinitely, terms subject to change. And this playbook is older than gaming. In 2009, Amazon discovered it had sold ebooks it never had the rights to. So one night, they reached into people's Kindles and deleted the books, remotely. People woke up and the books were gone. And of all the books in the world, guess which one they deleted? 1984. Amazon erased George Orwell's 1984, like something straight out of George Orwell's 1984. The backlash got so bad that Jeff Bezos himself apologized, and I quote, "Our solution to the problem was stupid, thoughtless, and painfully out of line with our principles." That was 2009. The apology tour ended, the delete button stayed, and 15 years later, the games industry found an even better trick. Why delete the thing you sold when you can switch off the world it needs to run? And if you want to know what revocable looks like in the wild, let me tell you about The Crew, an online racing game from Ubisoft. Millions of people bought it, full price, real money. In December 2023, Ubisoft quietly pulled it from stores. On March 31st, 2024, they switched off the servers. And because the game needed those servers for everything, every single copy on the planet stopped working. The discs still exist. They are coasters now. People were, understandably, furious. Some of them sued. And this is where it gets beautiful, because Ubisoft had to explain itself in an actual courtroom, on the record. Their defense was that customers should not have expected to own the game forever, that what everyone bought was a limited license. They did not say sorry, they said you should have known. And when a company says the quiet part out loud in a court filing, lawmakers start reading the transcripts. California passed a law called AB 2426. Since January 2025, a store in California cannot put the word buy on a button for a revocable license without clearly telling you what it really is. Sit with that for a second. The word buy became so dishonest that it is now regulated like a cigarette ad. A French consumer group is suing Ubisoft over the same game. This stopped being a gamer tantrum a while ago. It is consumer law catching up to a 20-year sleight of hand. Now here is the industry's honest case, because it exists. Servers cost real money, and nobody can keep every game online forever. Modern games are built as living services. Even discs today are half an install and a day one patch, so physical was already half a myth. All of that is true. Nobody serious is demanding immortal servers. What people actually asked for is much smaller. When you kill a game, patch it so it runs offline. Let the thing people paid for keep existing on their own hardware. That is it. That is the whole demand. Keep it in mind, because they took that demand to the most powerful regulator on Earth, and you are about to hear the answer. Out of the crew's corpse grew a movement called Stop Killing Games, and it did something internet outrage almost never does. It filled out paperwork. 1.4 million signatures on a European citizens initiative, 1.29 million verified as valid, formally delivered to the European Commission this January. 1.3 million people volunteered their government ID to complain about video games. That is how angry this made people. On June 16th, the Commission answered. They cannot impose a legal obligation on companies to keep games playable. Instead, they will try to broker a voluntary code of conduct by the end of the year. The ask was, let us keep what we paid for. The answer was, we will ask the companies nicely. To be fair to Brussels, they did not say gamers are wrong. They said current law has no tool for this, which is technically true, and a voluntary code is not nothing. New laws are being drafted. California keeps trying. The system is slow, not deaf. That is the strongest, honest version of their side. Now here is what the internet heard. No. Which brings us to the 7 words. If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing. It is in every comment section, every forum thread, under every Sony announcement this month. One version of it is sitting at 187,000 likes. People are promising to jailbreak a console that does not exist yet, and the crowd is cheering them on. And here is why that sentence should terrify these companies. It is not a threat, it is a moral verdict. For 20 years, the pitch was simple. Pay us like it is ownership, and we will pretend it is ownership. The moment Ubisoft stood in a courtroom and said the pretending was never legally binding, they did not just win an argument. They handed every pirate on Earth a closing statement. September 1st, 551 movies gone from paid libraries. July 2027, thousands of games become unbuyable. January 2028, every new PlayStation game is a license. None of this was hacked or leaked or stolen. It was all in the agreement. You clicked I agree. So what actually helps? Because the answer is not piracy, and I mean that. Piracy is not the fix here. It is the symptom. The fix is boring, and it works. Laws that force the word license onto the button. California already did it. End-of-life patches. That is the entire Stop Killing Games ask. Stores where buying actually is owning. They exist. GOG is one. And for the things you genuinely love, buy the disc while discs still exist. You have about 18 months. For 20 years, they told us buying isn't owning, and we clicked I agree. Now the internet has finally read the fine print back to them, and apparently, the fine print says piracy isn't stealing. They wrote that sentence. They just did not expect us to finish it. This has been Open Lens World. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.